At the northern tip of Japan's main island, in Aomori prefecture, is the Shimokita Peninsula. And tucked away in the mountains of this unassuming region is one of the top 3 holiest sites in all of Japan. Osorezan Bodaiji dates back 1200 years when it was founded by a monk who was said to have a vision telling him to seek out a sacred site. Upon traveling through the entire country, he arrived at Lake Usori, and the site seemed to meet all the criteria he had in his vision. This temple is extremely unique in that it has sulfur springs emerging and flowing right through it. There are even onsens on site, but unfortunately for me, they were closed for maintenance. You can even stay here overnight, enjoying Buddhist vegetarian meals, the onsens, and participating in prayers, although I'll have to do that next time. The course through the sacred site brings you through a desolate landscape full of volcanic rock and steam spewing out of the ground. This is supposed to be a representation of hell. As you emerge from the hellish landscape at the shores of Lake Usori, you are met with white sandy beaches and vivid blue waters, which is said to be a representation of heaven on earth.
Wow, that was incredible. Top 3 temples I visited in Japan for sure. Highly recommend. But now it's back to reality for me. I need to find a place to hunker down for the next couple of days because my shooting to editing ratio has been way off. Way more shooting and not very much editing. So I have a ton of work to catch up on, YouTube videos, reels, and some client work. And then some errands like laundry, groceries. I might buy a futon because my mattresses are really uncomfortable. Might be a little bit of a more administrative couple of days, but then it will be back to the adventure.
The temperatures felt like summer again compared to the freezing cold I experienced in Hokkaido, and I found an amazing free campsite on the ocean, so I popped the trunk and enjoyed the sound of the waves rolling in. I did buy that futon for about 4,000 yen, which has made my bed way more comfy, and it folds up super neatly, which is great. I also stayed at several Michi-no-ekis, which are roadside stations, and I stay at them quite often, so I thought I would talk about them briefly. They're everywhere across Japan, even if you don't take toll expressways like me. It's common for people to stay overnight here as it has everything you need. Bathrooms are open 24/7, there are usually one or even multiple restaurants. They have local produce, which is sometimes cheaper than grocery stores, and a ton of local specialties and souvenirs, which is cool. At the bigger roadside stations, there are even onsens, so you can bathe. The most important feature, though, are garbage bins. If you've been to Japan, you know garbage bins are very hard to find, and it's probably the biggest challenge of van life in Japan. The one downside is it's not the quietest, as it's usually near major roads and the parking lots are quite busy. I barely drove or explored for the next few days, which was actually really nice. It felt like I was able to have a routine. I'd wake up, have my morning coffee with the new kettle I bought, rather than spilling boiling water everywhere with my pot, and a new glass mug because studies show that coffee tastes better if you drink it from a cool cup. Then I get some work done, have leftovers for lunch, go get a workout in, hit an onsen, then make dinner and get more work done before calling it a night. It's a nice contrast after several days of constantly being on the move and adventuring. After a good few days catching up on work, it was back to the adventure, and the next place I had on the list was Oirase Gorge in Towada Hachimantai National Park. It runs for about 14 kilometers up to Towada Lake, so I rented an e-bike from the bottom of the gorge, which cost 3,000 yen for 4 hours.
So if you know me, you know I was a photographer first, and I've only recently gotten into videography, but I usually don't show my photos in videos. I save that for Instagram, but the long exposures are just gorgeous of the river, so I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to show a few in here.
Although I intended to check out more around the lake once I returned the bike, being a Sunday with beautiful weather in peak fall, the traffic was unfortunately so crazy that I skipped through the rest of Towada Hachimantai National Park and made it to the city of Hirosaki for the night, before heading south into Akita prefecture. Look at this little shrine. And by the way, the characters that make up the name Akita mean fall and field. Aki means fall and ta means field. So whoever named the prefecture Akita must have come at the same time as I am, because this perfectly describes what I'm seeing.
As I continue southward, I'm currently going through a mountain pass right now, and I've been meaning to cold plunge recently. I haven't since 2 videos ago when I was at that wild onsen. It is freaking like 7 degrees out because I'm in the subalpine right now. So this is gonna be freezing.
Cold, all right. Henry, this is for you. Woo! All right, well, I'm gonna leave it at a couple minutes, that's fine.
Got some leftover bolognese. Oh my God, I forgot I have Parmesan. This is actually Parmesan from Hokkaido, from Tokachi. Oh baby. Yes, sir.
The next place I wanted to visit on my way through Akita prefecture is Kakunodate, and that's because it's a samurai stronghold that dates back 400 years. Many of the homes of the important samurai families remain along the main avenue, many in their original state. It's crazy imagining walking in the footsteps of samurai, and you can enter several of the homes to get a feel for how they lived. They even hold a katana and put on samurai helmets. A word of advice, Kakunodate is by no means a hidden gem. Most things open at 9 AM, which means that's also the time tour buses show up. If you want to enjoy these streets and get into the samurai houses and museums before the majority of the crowd show up, I would suggest getting here around 8:30 so you can enjoy the quiet streets and be the first in the houses. I was able to sleep in the van right in town and got an early start, which was great. Kakunodate is also known for its red bean sweets, so I got myself a daifuku to enjoy by the river. Wow, very mochi mochi. I should also mention this river is lined with hundreds of sakura trees, and in the spring it's one of the most famous places in all of Tohoku to view cherry blossoms. So I'm now heading into the mountains of Akita, and I just ran out of water, and it's been a bit of a problem to find water recently because a lot of the parks like this that have fountains have shut off their water for the winter. So I'm lucky that I found one before I'm heading out, because for the next couple days I probably won't have very much infrastructure to rely on. So that was lucky, but going forward I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet. So I was just driving through this valley and I just look up on the hill and see, I don't know if you can see in this video, but there's a castle chilling on the top of that hill. It's closed now, I checked unfortunately, otherwise I'd go check it out, but how cool is that?
So when I first came into the foot bath, there was an older gentleman sitting here enjoying it. So I said good morning and we chatted a little bit. He was giving me all kinds of recommendations and eventually he got going. I was sitting here a little bit longer for another 10 minutes or so, and he came back and gave me all these pamphlets and even some little origami cranes. So nice of him. Like, he didn't have to do that. I think he went to the tourist information center and he asked for an English one, he said too. So I just love those kind of little experiences. I wish I would have gotten some on film, but yeah, so nice. And it is currently almost snowing. Looks like a freaking steam machine. That's crazy. This is absolutely insane. One of my favorite places in Japan for sure.
So I just had to do a little U-turn because I saw this super intriguing torii gate leading into the forest. Let's go check it out. There's honestly so many of these little shrines that I keep wanting to stop by. I mean, I just did one a few minutes ago in this video. They're just such a vibe, but if I stopped at every one, I wouldn't get anywhere. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to take a massive detour to go where I was planning on going next. Well, that wraps up my time in Aomori and Akita, and honestly, Akita has become my new favorite prefecture. This place is insane, and there's so many places that no one has ever heard of. If you tell someone what's in Akita, like, they probably couldn't tell you for the most part, but it has so many hidden gems. I can't wait to be back here, but I'm now going into Yamagata, and there's also a ton of things there I can't wait to see and to show you guys. So I'll see you then in the next adventure.